we got to deal with this stuff because no one's coming for you.
You got to fix yourself.
No, you got to fix your community and your home and your kids and your dog because no one's coming. No one's helping. It's on you. Are you a man over 35 years old? It's on you.
Yeah.
Over 45, it's really on you. You're it. You're the last line of defense in this society.
That's true.
It's going down. And you can make a change with your children and with your dog and in your community and in your home. And if you have the power to make change outside of that, good on you. But at least do it with your dog and your kids in your home. Then go to your community because things are getting real and they're getting scary.
All right.
Beckman Unleashed podcast number 32.
We are live.
Here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to go off a little bit. You might have to tamp me down a bit. I'm going to go off on weak dog owners, weak trainers, weak parents. This week has been an interesting week for me because I've seen some examples, and I see many examples of this in society. Weak parenting in my own life and what I see. Weak dog ownership. I see that every week, all the time. We're also going to talk about Jason Corey did a video on my last video. It's going to drop tomorrow. We're going to show that to you. You can just see like a teaser. He's a big YouTube guy. He comments on he's a fan, if I want to say that, and I'm a fan of his. So we're going to do that. And then also, in irony of all ironies, if you've been following this podcast, you know my aversion to fighting homeless people. I got in a fight with a homeless person this week.
Stay away.
Which is insane and is a crazy story. Then I got in a weird argument with the cop, which is also just odd. And I have a lot of opinions on that. And I wasn't the main fighter in this. I helped a guy fight a homeless guy, and it was out of control.
Jump him or what?
He jumped this guy. It was crazy. So, but first, here's what I'm going to say. There is so much weakness in ownership of dogs that it's kind of coming to a head a little bit in my mind. And for years, I have been very put the ownership on the dog. I did it last week, and I still do. Understanding that dogs can be very difficult. I've had so many clients that have struggled with dogs, capable people, and they don't know what to do. But I'm getting to the point where I'm like, how about, and you said it last week to a degree, how about you just fix the problem? It's not rocket science. Be the leader of your home, man or woman. Run your house. When your children are completely out of line, they're bullying other children, you take them and you go, how about you bully me, 15-year-old boy? Bully me. How about we start taking control of this nonsense in society of weak men, to a degree, weak women as parents and dog owners? I want to go into someone's home. I don't do a lot of in-homes anymore. And this can happen at my facility, obviously, but it's a little, I want to walk into someone's home and have their 70-pound lab launch itself at me. Happily, intact lab launch itself at me. And this happens so many times. And instead of dealing with it, I want to look at the owner and go, do something about this. And well, I know what they'll do because I've seen it. They'll grab the dog and they'll back the dog up, and then they look at me. And their dog's lunging, and they're looking at me going, what should I do? And I'm going to not tell them what to do. I'm going to go, just do something about this. And they're going to go, well, I don't want to be mean to the dog. No, do something about this. I'm not going to tell. I'm a little over like explaining every little. How about you just be a strong person who does something? It's not rocket science. Your unneutered dog is launching itself. Not aggressively, launching and hitting your guests. Do something. Okay, you don't know what to do. I can tell you right this second what to do. I almost don't even want to do it on this podcast. Just try. Try something. Do something. Yeah. Not hold the dog back. Do something.
Have you heard the saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions?
I've heard it.
Yeah, so it reminds me a bit of the little scuffle that you got into with the homeless guy. Just that if you trace that back, right, what was, it was probably a lot of coddling and a lot of BS that went on that created somebody who is eventually going to mess with people in the street that they don't know and end up creating an altercation because probably that person didn't take responsibility and somebody allowed unacceptable behavior to be acceptable, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually now it's spilling out into your life and other people in the community's life
Yeah.
because people didn't just say, hey, enough.
When they're children
Yeah.
or even society. So
Anytime, right?
anytime. So yes, and I'm going to get into the homeless fight because that is a similar thing, okay, to this. But I am getting, I just want dog ownership and parents. I had a situation this week that I can't get into a tremendous amount with one of my kids, with another kid, and I can't get into the details of it. And I dealt with it in the perfect way. I didn't tell you about this. I called you after the homeless thing.
Is it a boy or girl? One of your boys or one of your girls?
The girl.
Okay.
And
I'm not sure who it is.
Another kid. Well, I don't have one.
I know.
Girl. So and another kid, and I dealt with it in the perfect way. I'd want to literally ask weak parents who can't control their children, their 14-year-old. It's one thing if your 2-year-old freaks out in Target, right? We've all dealt with that. It's another thing if you warn your kid, don't do this, and then they just keep doing it. I'm curious what that's like as a parent to be such a bad word.
I think the thing is, though, Joel,
I'm really curious.
You're asking these questions, but unfortunately, you're barking up the wrong tree because this is the pod,
and the pod knows what's up.
Just a bunch of solid ass people.
Well, go forth, pod, into society.
Yes.
And did someone say that?
Yeah.
Go forth and spread the message that young men and dogs, if my son did what this boy did, and I said, hey, you can't do that. Okay, you can't. Let's say it's bullying. Okay, which it was kind of a similar thing to that, bullying.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at my son. I go, if you don't ever do that again, look at me. Don't ever do that again. And my son did that again, bro.
This is being recorded, just so you know.
It wouldn't be anything physical.
It would be a come to Jesus.
It would be, and it wouldn't be taking the phone away, and it wouldn't be physical. It would be a way that I approached him, and a way that I stared at him in the eye, and the way it would be all attitude,
it's the intensity,
and the intensity of it, where he would go, "Oh,
yeah, this is a big deal."
I kind of didn't know that guy, my dad, was capable of that intensity. I would hate as a young boy to see that intensity up one notch. I would really not like to see that. That's what, if they cross this line, you're going to let your boy, your 14-year-old boy, bully boys, bully girls. What the? You're going to let that happen? You're going to know it's happening and then go, I'm going to take your e-bike away.
You know, the issue too, though, is this.
I'm going to take your phone away for 3 hours. What?
No, it's all about being
too
soft across the board.
I'm not some tough guy. You know this.
I know this.
But I think it's the dogs and like the way of looking at him and just carrying yourself away around 20 dogs. I don't have 20 dogs. 10 dogs in my facility all the time, of like walking around and these dogs going like, this guy carries himself well. And I've just rehearsed it maybe. I don't know, but I'm over it. And sorry I haven't let you talk.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think
I'm not letting this nonsense happen, dude.
Things boil over. But ultimately, you got to allow, you can't accept things that are unacceptable. So if somebody's out of line, like I think about the intensity piece, because having 3 kids and then especially young ones, where you want to go, oh, can you go to bed, please? Or I know you were refusing to go to bed, but could you go to bed, please? Like you try that and it doesn't work. They look at you like, what's wrong with this guy?
Thank you. No, and I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
Listen, we give organisms, dogs, people, wives, we give them lots of chances. People
Yeah.
make mistakes in life. Teenagers do stupid things. You let things go. Even you let things that cross the line go, and then you successfully or successively you ramp up the consequences each time the behavior goes more. It's ramped up,
Yeah.
whatever that consequence is, and you ramp it up until the behavior is completely eliminated. And before you ever reach a certain point, you just cannot reach this point of physicality. You don't go there. I've never gone there. You don't get there, but you can do a lot in that space. This is the point of which the behavior is unacceptable. This is the point of which we will not go. And then there's all this space right here. Okay. And that's where we work, and that's where we live.
It gets to the punishment reinforcement thing that you did the other way, where it's like,
2 weeks
if
ago.
you keep saying, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? And the behavior continues, like eventually your intensity has to increase to the point where you're like, and it, like you're saying, it doesn't mean that you don't hit somebody, you don't do anything like that. But when they can see it in your face, like you've crossed the line, like
Bro.
this is it, right? I mean, that's the thing. And so, it's like, I don't want to be a super intense parent all the time. I don't want to be an intense parent any of the time.
No.
But if nothing else gets results, then it's like, I guess I'm going to have to be real intense when things are going wrong, because clearly ignoring it isn't good. And there's a lot of, think about, oh, you need to chill. You don't need to be so intense as a parent. It's like, there are high stakes, right? And the stakes are actually incredibly high.
Societal
when it's like,
stakes.
oh, just handle that a different day. Sometimes the worst decision you can make is to just kick the can down the road and never address the beast that keeps getting worse and worse, similar to the dog
or person.
And just like your person that you're talking about with your daughter, it's like, it's this kind of, I think it's partly rooted in guilt, that like they're afraid to call someone, to the carpet, so to speak, because they feel guilty and they want to always be the favorite parent. And they don't know also that, just the same way with the dogs, and the people think like, oh, my dog is just misunderstood. It didn't mean to bite the person or whatever. It's like I actually ran into that this weekend, where the dog had bit somebody, and it wasn't like, they were like, he's in dog jail. And then I was like, well, which one of these dogs did it? And they're like, it's the gray one. And I was like, all right. And I was like, I'm watching you, buddy. Don't get near me. Don't. And it was what was it? Australian doodle. And I guess it went out and bit someone's calf.
Yeah.
But
that's where the doodles come from. The golden doodle, labradoodle. Australia was
mixed with but they mixed it with an Australian Shepherd, I think.
Oh, then it's a Aussie doodle.
Yeah, it was an Aussie doodle. And then, but the thing is, it bit somebody. And so it's like, and the people were just awesome. So I'm not trying to hate or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that, like, biting is so serious that, like, it just doesn't matter. But it's so hard. I think people are blinded by the fact that they just love their dog, that they're like, make excuses for him versus seeing the reality.
Biting is so serious.
Dude, you're freaking biting me. What the hell?
Biting is like your kid punching a weak kid at school.
Yeah.
It needs to be dealt with very quickly.
Yeah.
And immediately. Or you are a problem in society, and your kid is a problem in society. Your dog is a problem.
I mean,
fix the problem?
Like,
it's not that hard. I do it every day.
You know what's funny about this is, it reminds me of when I was a kid. Like, I got into some minor trouble, and when I was in first grade, I got into some trouble. But I had gotten into
first
grade, a scuffle.
Pretty young.
Got into a little bit of a scuffle, and when I got a referral and all this stuff. I got sent home or whatever. And so my parents were so freaking, for the word intense, right? We're so serious about the fact that, you put hands on somebody, that, like, I was like, uh-oh, I'm in, like, this is life-changing trouble I'm getting in. And they were basically always told me growing up, like, you better not freaking get us sued. Like, you better not do something that causes trouble to this family. So I was always not so much worried about my mom, but worried about what my dad might do. And so, like, if somebody was causing trouble at the school, I was more afraid of my dad than I was afraid of.
Wait, what? There's something to that whole, oh, I'm worried about this guy more than I am fighting this guy, which
Kinda
I've
like
said
what you
a
say in your video.
thousand
Yeah,
times in videos on
yeah.
how to fix aggression.
Yeah, the consequences are
That's
coming
exactly
somewhere
right.
where it's like, I think a lot of these kids I grew up with, like, they were quick to do other, put hands on people or do other things because they didn't have, they get home and then their parents were like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, did you win the fight, Johnny?" And it's like they have no idea what's happening. Now, fortunately for me, I tried to keep all that stuff quiet as much as possible, whatever happened out there. But I always knew, like, if there's anything going on at school, like fighting wise, I'm in so much
Yeah, unless you're
trouble. It's
defending
crazy.
yourself,
Yeah, but
which we
even
all get.
still, like, I mean, they knew me enough to know that I would basically say that.
Yeah. So you
They're not
and
believe my
yeah, and you
stories.
got to figure out from your kids, like just because your kids tell you what happened does
Yeah,
not mean that's what happened. You got to
yeah.
figure that out. Which in this situation with I was really, it was a lot of figuring out what actually happened, because you as a parent have to know the 100% facts.
Yeah.
What your kid says is not the case. They will say things that maybe aren't quite true or leave stuff out. Then you got to deal with it, but you need 100% of the facts.
I actually,
So
that's a crazy thing you're saying about, like, thinking about when you do bring that intensity to a situation where there's
you
some
better be
confusion,
right.
is you have to, and I did this because I had a situation, I shouldn't be sharing this, but I had a situation where I was unclear about like a coach, for my daughter.
Totally.
And I was like, Saturday, and of course my daughter's like, oh geez, like what is he's gonna ask me all these questions or like want to know this stuff. And I was basically doing what you're saying, like, look, this is dead effing serious. Like, I need to know exactly what was texted. I
Bro,
need to know it too. I need to be 1,000% certain on what you're
1,000.
saying. Because let's just say it is an adult with a 15-year-old girl, right? Like, if there's inappropriate stuff being sent, like, I need to know that 1,000%. Like,
You
if there's
can't
not,
do anything till you know 1,000%.
yeah,
You
and I don't want to
literally
accuse
don't have
him.
all the facts.
Yeah,
Can't do
I don't
anything.
want to be like, hey, like, is this going on or something like that when if there's no proof. But I like sat her down, like, you need to tell me 100% what's going on. And then we got to the bottom of it, but without that come to Jesus, like, this is not a normal conversation. This is like a time to, you know, get totally
Ye-
honest. Not that she wasn't honest, but just knowing that the stakes are high,
They
right?
can perceive honest. They can leave something out and then be honest, but they're leaving something out. Like, they can't. You got it. You got to know it all, because there's high stakes for this stuff. There's community things. There's things where communities and friend groups get split up, and it's
Mhm.
all misunderstandings. And this kid is saying this to this. It's weird stuff. But so you need to, and then you, the parent, sometimes you got to let your own kid deal with this stuff, and that's what something not, not your thing, which I don't know what your thing is, but my thing, there's an aspect of it of teach my kid to deal with this. Why am I the one getting involved? Well, I'm the one getting involved because in this situation, I have to.
Well, if it's a girl versus boy situation, it's immediately
But it's
like,
not like physical stuff.
doesn't matter though. Like,
It's not like a strength thing.
it's not a situation where, like, if a girl on girl, then you're kind of like, hey, you need to stick up for yourself potentially, or
Right.
other things
That's
like
right.
that. If it's a boy and a boy, you go, oh, hey, like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you, even if you can't win, like, you need to be assertive and like,
Yeah.
stand your ground, right? Versus, like, if somebody's getting bullied, just as an example, and or they're 3 years older and they're a boy and a girl or whatever, it's not something that it's not a fair fight to be had.
No.
So that's where you have to intervene. I think that's parent.
Right.
That's actually like a funny thing I was talking to my manager about, where he's kind of like, you do everything you want to do. Like, you do it. Like, when you run into issues where, like, people are blocking you in ways that you can't solve, like, you holler at me and I get involved and break through where it's impossible for you to break through. But otherwise, I don't want to deal with it. And so it's like, you don't. It's called like the general with more stripes, right? Like, you don't get the general with more stripes involved if you don't need them. But when you need to call that general and be like, hey, we got troops we need to circle around, that. So it's like strategy, right? You just don't, but you generally want to leave people and let them be autonomous. But at the same time, you want to be involved in their life
You
too.
generally want to do that with your children too. You essentially, if your child is out there and you're having to intervene all the time,
Yeah.
guess who the problem is?
Yeah.
It's your kid, or it's you.
Yeah.
Why are you involved in every aspect of your kid's life? What's your kid doing? I first had to make sure in this situation, and I first had to make sure my kid's part in it. That was the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
Was not even what anyone else did. I had to go, okay, do they have a point here?
Mhm.
And even then, the way I dealt with it was understanding that they might have a point here.
Yeah.
It's complicated, but I shouldn't be involved a lot. If I'm involved a lot, there's a big ass problem. So let me get into this homeless thing.
Well, hold on. Let me just put a finer point on this. This because it relates to dog training well in the sense that
Okay.
like you just the same way a father and a daughter or whatever, it's like a dog owner and a dog, right? Like there is this radical level of honesty of appraising the situation properly and being like, oh yeah, we get it. You love your dog, but like, is your dog in the wrong? Now, maybe your dog isn't just wrong. It could be like, what is it? Malevolent? Like it could actually be like have bad intentions. Like it could be trying to hurt other dogs.
No,
right?
that's impossible.
I know. I mean, I know on other
There's no
channels
such
that's
thing.
yeah,
Hurt another dog?
yeah. But I mean, there's levels, right? I mean, there's
No, you're
being
right.
another dog. There's being a dog. Like I saw this thing where it was like a raven was like attacking these like baby birds,
I
right?
saw it. It's horrible.
It's horrible. You get all angry, but
Killed these osprey.
yeah, that's right.
It's horrible in that it's hard to watch. It's not.
Oh, it's really hard to watch.
Yeah.
It makes me think like I'm literally watching this like where is the justice at? Like this is so jacked. Like there's just a little baby and it's just getting
Osprey are
ripped apart.
super dumb.
But then it's hard to be
They're
mad
not smart birds.
but again, you can't be mad because you're like,
no.
that's how it is. But then, but with humans and other things, I think it's like, but again, the dog doesn't necessarily know unless you tell it to knock it off. So like, even when at the place I was at this weekend, I was at the UFC, as you probably know, with this situation is like the owner, when the other dog started to bother the other dog, he's like, get away from that other dog. Like, and the thing was like, whoa, so like, I was like, wow, good job. Like he exerted his, dominance, so to speak, and like allowed the other dog not to be tortured and harassed so that it could exist.
So guys, go in the world and quit being and quit being wimps. Your dog isn't always right. The pod knows this. I'm preaching to the choir here, like for sure. But educate your friends. Like when your dog's unacceptable, deal with it. No, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Figure it out. Deal with it. Your dog is attacking dogs and jumping on people when they come in and making your guests uncomfortable. How about make the dog uncomfortable?
Let me read this one.
You're making your guests uncomfortable. What? Make the dog uncomfortable.
So our Patrick does this.
Our Patrick.
That's what we're calling you. Even if your name isn't our Patrick, that's what we think it says. He does timestamps, and tell me this is not funny. It says 23 minutes. It's like Eric's hiking story. 24, Joel goes semi-scorched earth. 30, Liz wields a shovel to save Joel from fighting semi-homeless man with Pipple. Now that is actually kind of ironic.
Yeah.
31, go forth thy pod.
Oh,
let thy light shine through thy leash, that your steed shall dawn in society. Saveth the hot dogs for sand throwing children.
How good of a poet is our Patrick?
That's pretty solid. Right?
I could never write like that.
He even says, JB, which I imagine is Joel Beckman, just to be clear, or to clear up some potential confusion, I'm your resident wannabe rapper, and I didn't hear a voicemail this week, so I'll see what I can do. LOL. I don't require pronouns, but I'd like you to know I am, in fact, an intact male.
I'm glad he's intact.
Might explain some slight aggression.
Yeah, our Patrick is a star.
You're on a roll, bro. You're on a roll.
And he said I took away his part-time job of being the timestamp person for the pod because I put but I like his better. Mine are like boring.
Yeah,
his
you didn't use the thous and the thys.
No,
that was impressive.
or say about shovel wielding wife and all that. Speaking of wives, how about men? You be the human being that your wife wants to rip your clothes off. How about that? Are we getting off topic now? You be the leader for your children and your dogs, and you being the guy that your wife is so attracted to that she doesn't want. 50% of divorce is more than 50% is done by women. More cheating is done by women than men.
Do you have the numbers on this?
It's high. How about you be the guy that your wife is so into that she would never think about another man? You're such a strong, capable, driven man that she sees no one else. How about that? How about you be that guy?
What about the downsides of that though? Like you work your ass off all day to try
Yeah.
to provide, and
Yeah.
then it's like, you're working yourself to the bone, right?
Yeah.
And then
I'm
even
curious
you're
what
doing
you're
the
gonna
right.
say.
See, if you're even doing the right stuff, like you're going out. So, you work all day, then you're like, well, I got to be the man that she wants me to be. So I'm going to lift weights and I'm going to get in
Okay.
super good shape. So it's like, and they're like, why aren't you home? Well, you've been gone all day. Blah 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 blah. So like, can you really win? Is the question I'm asking you. I'm not saying I'm just hypothetical
that's a
here.
hard question. Then you go, okay. You go, yeah. I just worked all day. I worked out. What do you want? You tell me what you want. And she
Do you
goes, well,
do
I
you
want
flex the
this from
abs?
you. And you go, okay, you want that. Do you want me to be in shape? Well, yeah. Do you want me to make money? Well, yeah. Okay, well, that took up about 12 hours of the day.
Yeah.
No, oh, you want me to do this? Okay. That's going to take about 3 hours. Okay, we're at 14 hours now. Oh, you want me to be the best father in the world? Okay, that's going to take all day. Okay, what can we drop off here? Beautiful, wonderful wife. What can can I do? What can I not do that's perfect? And she goes, oh, well, I guess God, he is busy
You look
guy,
at
and he's trying to be an Adonis for me, and he's trying to make money very much in part for me, and
yeah, especially considering
make her make a choice.
you might not have a lot of financial needs yourself, so a lot of it could be for your partner. So
You
you're
think?
kind of like, I'm not saying, I don't know. I mean, we're just speaking in
I could
hypotheticals, pod.
I could live in an apartment and
I
be
could live in a
happy, bro.
tent.
Yeah.
I could literally live in a tent, but
Yeah.
I think your ultimate point is, I think, larger, which is about like, and it is like the Gandhi, right? Be the change you want to see in the world type of thing. Whereas like be the best guy you can be or the best gal you can be. And then, hey, if they leave you and you did your absolute best to be handsome and smart and affectionate,
Loving.
yeah, and all that type of stuff, then, and don't take people for granted, then
And many more things.
yeah, and if you think
did your
about it,
best.
right? Because I was looking at this, and I think I called you about this last night. Actually, was about this video I watched about basically people wasting their life on social media, right? And I was telling you how like this is not the same thing. Like shorts, shorts, TikToks, things like that is not the same thing as this podcast. Like long form content, but it's like people I think are very clear about what they want to get out of this and what the human connection and they get from this channel.
This podcast in particular.
Yeah. So, but it's one of those things where you could really piss a lot of your time away where you're out there on TikTok and shorts and stuff, and you're just zooming. So like you're not present. So it's like, first of all, are you being constructive with your time?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this is an area, I play this one game. This one stupid
you son
game.
of a
It's this one shooting game, and I play it like
what the hell are you
at
doing?
night. Oh, I play it all the time.
Is your wife like, what are you playing?
Yes.
She
knows when
what is it?
I don't. Oh, you want me to? It's some game. Okay,
is it for
I'll
like
bring
13-year-olds or something, or what?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's called Alien Shooter, and I've played it for 8 years.
So you're missing the mark.
I play it every day
at home.
It's just this one game.
But
you think I'm missing the mark because I play that one game?
Like
I turn my brain off. Right, I get on social media. It's like, oh, YouTube. I'm on there, so I don't have burner.
Yeah, you
accounts.
don't get to escape.
There's no escape. TikTok is a bit of an escape, but I have an account, so it's like I'm on that. Like, there's no freaking escape. It's my brain turn off move, but I play it too much.
So you're screwing up. Is what you're saying.
I can be better.
Okay, cool.
You got to know where you can be better, right?
No, I don't disagree.
Oh yeah, I can be.
You weren't kidding, man. You are on fire today,
bro. Yeah, there's a few things. So, homeless story.
Can we give you some like intravenous drugs or anything like that to calm you down?
Like what?
I don't know. Demerol, Percocet.
I don't
Oxycontin.
know.
Is that going to create problems with the algorithm? I don't
know. Probably not.
No.
Okay, ready? Homeless guy. Speaking of Oxycontin and morphine.
Speaking of drug overdose.
Yeah. I'm at the beach. So this podcast has a weird history of talking about fighting homeless people, or our version of
I had my
people.
run-in. You've had a couple run-ins.
So I'm on the beach. My daughter surfs. There's a guy down here filming, and I see this homeless person walk up and hit the guy's camera. Right, these long lenses for surfing. Hits the camera, and the guy, he's a coach. He goes, get that out of here. Like
You
it
did
was
on purpose, right?
oh, bro, it was
shouldn't be anywhere near that. Right?
really weird and bad and something I've never seen a homeless person do. He goes, get the hell out of here. And then the homeless guy goes over to a tree and starts circling the tree and drawing these lines around the trees out of his mind, this homeless guy.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm sitting there and I look over and guy's fighting homeless guy. Full on fight in the sand, fighting. Okay.
Full wrestle.
Full jujitsu coach. Or he's a coach. He's a surf coach. Right. He's down there.
He's not
fighting.
the one I'm familiar with.
No, he's a guy I really don't know.
Okay.
Fighting homeless guy. I run over there.
You were licking your chops, man.
No, I don't want to get in a fight with homeless guys.
That's my whole thing. For this.
No, that's my whole thing is don't get in a fight with homeless people. Okay.
No way.
So I'm holding the guy's legs. I start holding the legs, but the homeless guy. What happens?
You like dive on him or what?
No, he's like the coach has got the guy. Plus he knows jujitsu. So he's like, but the guy's really strong and high and wiry and strong. And so they're like, he's like got him in mount, and then he goes to choke him, and he's got him in a choke. Got homeless guy in a choke, and goes back like this, like you've seen 100 times and you've done because you know jujitsu. And then this other dude comes over and goes, and this is where there's two things that happen in this. One, fight with this homeless guy, me, weird interaction with the cop afterwards, and the notion of this, which I'm going to say. Guy comes over and goes, don't choke him out. Now, this at the time, I was agreeing with it. I do not agree with it now, but I'm also not the guy. So if you do certain moves and somebody is not well afterwards, homeless guy isn't well afterwards, we are in the state of California.
True. But there's issues on both sides. For instance, like you are getting to you go from normal walking around to a full on fight, violence.
Bro.
The person could have a knife, a gun. You'd have no idea. And
You're
so it's like, oh, well, so if it's
he had a candle, he attacked the guy with a candle. I didn't see I heard later.
Yeah.
I just saw the fight. I didn't see what happened. I heard later.
But it's like, yeah, and I get it. In this state, it's illegal, and I think New York as well, to use a rear naked choke to choke someone out.
That's a big deal.
But at the same time, you have to balance things against, like, is somebody going to try to kill you? Like, when are you gonna?
I know.
When is it okay to protect yourself? I guess is my question to you.
It's always okay. But
yeah, just don't do anything you're not willing to take the consequences for.
Yeah, and you know the consequences could potentially be really bad.
Yeah, so
that's the problem, and that's the moral dilemma of this, and that's the failings in society. And I'm going to tell you the other failings in society, which is the cops, dude. So
we got a bad history of going after a handful of cops as well.
Or on this podcast? Well, I'm going to go after them.
Garrett Wing podcast went off on the on the how bad they were. Then I was kind of like thinking about I was more highlighting the lack of training, which
I'm going to talk
not their
about
fault.
The freaking attitude of these cops.
Did he give you trouble?
Oh my God, dude. This was after I talked to you. So homeless guy, I'm holding legs because jujitsu, there's really not space for two people. Like if you've got someone, the body covers most of the body of the other guy. So I got the legs. He's getting out all these moves. I'm trying to help, trying to hold and whatnot. And then he gets up and I push him and he falls down.
You push the
homeless guy? Yeah.
Oh man, you're a troublemaker.
In the sand. And he falls down and then he starts to leave and we're like following him out. Okay. We're not going to go attack him. He didn't want
any more smoke at that point.
He didn't want the smoke from Beckman, bro.
I don't blame him.
So he leaves. Then we go and talk. I hear more of the story.
The cops or no?
The lady who was with the coach called the cops the whole time. The minute the homeless guy attacked, she gets on the phone. I run over. She's calling the cops. There's a cop station, like a beach cop station, like right there. They never show up.
What are they going to do about it? Nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Who knew?
You didn't know
that they don't. I didn't know that.
You thought
homeless people can literally attack 30 feet from a playground that my kids play at 3 times a week. I had no idea homeless people could attack people with a candle and the cops literally don't show up. I go over there 3 different times at this cop station. These people the guy that was attacked does not live in that community. I do.
It's like you remember when my house got broken and I called the police and it took them like 75 minutes to get to the house.
Are you kidding me?
The breaking and enter. Yeah.
Dude. Okay. So
So, but I mean, if people know that at home, just as a public service announcement,
Yeah,
like
do something
if you
about it.
think that someone is,
They're not coming for
yeah,
you,
and I'm not saying someone should buy
most
something or
likely.
not buy something. I'm just saying if you are under the impression that if something really bad happens and someone goes into your house or tries to get in your house and you call the cops, if you're under the impression that they'll be there in 5 to 10 minutes,
They might,
they could be,
and they might not.
but they might not. But this guy told me that night, he said that, and this is probably, I don't want to say where it was, but let's just say from Lake Hodges. I guess I'm going to say where it is, all the way to almost like Mira Mesa.
Okay.
In that area, he said that at this time there was like maybe 1 or 2 patrol cars in that entire area, and it might have only been 1. And this is, during the financial crisis or whatever, so rough budget cuts and so forth. But there's basically nobody to help in the entire area in San Diego,
and that's the problem. Section. But that's not the actual cops' problem. My story is the actual cops' attitude that has me worked up.
What do you do?
So I'm going over this little weird police station. Cop comes out.
Substation or something like that?
Yeah, cop comes out. Hey, yeah, what's up? Yeah. Hey, man, did you get that call? I'll tell you exactly what he said. Yeah, the homeless guy or the guy who kind of went after the guy. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't take that call. That went to someone else. Okay. Do you know if they found the guy? Yeah. No, I'm not sure.
Yeah, can you look into
I'm
it,
like,
bro?
This happened 50 feet from you, bro. Like, I can see the guy that was attacked. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me give him a call and I'll see what's going on with that. I don't think they found him though. Okay. All right. I'll be back. So I go back.
Like, I don't want to interfere with your schedule today. I know you got a lot
sitting in this office. Yeah. So then I go back again. Another guy kind of rolls up, like a cop, like drives up. I'm like, oh, not to us, to this little station. I go, oh, and he's like, he's nice. They're all kind of nice until the last guy. So then he rolls up. Oh, I'm like, oh yeah, did you guys ever find that guy? The attack that happened 30 feet from your front door, 50 feet from your front door. Oh yeah, no, I don't think they found him. I heard that call. Oh, okay. Just because you weren't the guy called to go find the homeless attacker means you have no information on it. It was 50 feet.
It's like, hey, I haven't got my hamburger yet. Oh yeah, I didn't take your order for that. You're like, I don't give a shit if you did take my order for it. Where's my hamburger at?
Absolutely. Same thing, then, right? Oh yeah. Oh, he's actually the guy's pulling up right now. So the guy pulls up in a truck, dude. So I'm standing there with my daughter. The guy gets out, and you can tell he's not, whether he's called because I'm asking questions or he was just showing up or he knows. I don't know.
Wake him up? Was he sleeping?
Was he in the car sleeping? I don't know. He gets out of the car and instantly I'm like, all right, this guy's not stoked to be here talking to me right now.
No.
Literally, he gets out of the car.
He could feel your Beckman dog
homeless guy
energy.
Attacking people 30 feet from 30 children. He goes, comes out, and he's like, how cops stand, right? And he goes, what's up? And I instantly am like, okay, like I'm matching energy right off the bat. And I go, yeah, did you find the guy that attacked that guy? No. And I'm like,
are you looking?
I go, okay. And I don't remember what was said. I'm trying to think. And it was like, you got the call or something? And he's like, yeah, I got the call. So you do anything about it? Yeah, we're looking. And then it's just this like weird standoff. He
doesn't like to be told what to do. That's why he's
no. Concerned citizens are
taxpayers,
whatever to him. And then at the end, I don't remember what else was said. At the end, I go because I just wanted to. The last thing I said to remind him that I'm the guy who does my job. I'm going to just remind him he's the guy who doesn't do his job. So I knew the answer. He told me the answer being, and I go, so you didn't end up finding him? And he goes, yeah, no, or something. Like, I just wanted to be like,
you didn't.
Hey, don't forget, like you're the guy who doesn't find the guys. Like, let's not forget in this interaction, you're that guy. And then he walks away pissed. My daughter goes, I thought you were going to fight him. Like, it was so contentious.
You bring that energy.
He brought the energy, I think. Maybe my energy was like that, and then he matched mine, and I matched his. It was like a...
I mean, yeah, that's That's actually
the
super.
measuring contest. It wasn't though. I'm the guy who saw the attack by my kid. My kid was in the water, but my little one is at that play. I'm that guy. He's the guy. He's looking for the guy who didn't do his
You're
job.
the guy who doesn't
And
do
it
your job.
reminded me when I was a kid. When I was a kid, me and you used to get in some trouble, not together, separately. And I was like, always like, these cops seems like they have real like attitudes. But then I grew up and I was like, oh, they got a hard job.
Mhm.
Like I was just a punk kid. And but it brought me right back to going, actually, they do have those attitudes. Many of them, not all of them. Many
Yeah.
of them have that. And I forgot, dude. I totally forgot.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it, I mean, obviously there's the energy.
They have a hard job.
They don't like
maybe had a
being-
hard morning. I get it.
They don't like being
I don't know what it is.
challenged, of course, but like there was a guy in front of our jiu-jitsu place that was smoking right in front of like the door, and someone told him to move, and then like he wasn't doing it, and then they're like, and then so then the professor who's like the black belt comes out and he's just a maniac, badass, and he just goes out there and it's just like the same type of that energy. He's just like, hey, they asked you to move, why aren't you moving? And he's just like dying to just rip this guy, right? And the guy's just like, oh, I'm sorry, and just moves on down the road because he knows like now somebody's going to do something. But this is actually kind of weird. So last night I was watching this thing, and it never even occurred to me, right, that this could be the case in the world. And I'm not saying it is, but what they were saying is that sometimes with the police investigations and things like this, they actually use social media, right, in the news and things like that, to look at like what's trending. I mean, this seems unbelievable.
Go ahead.
To look at what's trending, and then based on what's trending from like a violence / robbery, whatever's trending, they look at what's trending and then go, okay, this is where these kids went in and robbed this convenience store and got on video and everyone's talking about it. That's like that's got 4 million views. We need to go figure out, because that's in our jurisdiction, like what happened, and solve
I've
that.
heard of this.
So they're actually like using social media in like the popularity of a situation to try to prioritize what to go after.
Oh, interesting.
To investigate. And then the substantiation of this was with this Tupac murderer who basically had confessed on Vlad TV or something like that about this.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, he wrote a book about it. So what happened? Why did they all of a sudden go after him? And then the person said, well, it was because they look at like what the trending things are. And when they see that this has got 10 million views, and everyone's like, well, if he talked about it in a book, why isn't he arrested? So then they go in there and they arrest him because of that. But so it's like, that blows my mind that could be possible.
Yeah.
That we're going to like look to what's popular. It's like a political thing, right? Like what's going to make the most impact from a social media perspective, not from a seriousness of the crime perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas if what I'm saying is true, I'm not saying that it is, but if it was true, then where does the
incident
bomb fall?
Right.
It doesn't fall at all.
Right.
In there. Right.
Right.
It's,
right.
Hey, sir, why are you wasting my time with a violent attacker?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How does that put money in my pocket?
If that thing is prevalent, then yes, my situation falls very low on that. But there are children around. But then I was watching this thing, and there's a.
He doesn't work for you.
Yeah. Then I was watching this thing today, and there's a zillion of these, but I was preparing for this podcast, so I thought about it. We can bring it up. It's this Seattle. All these protesters just block a road in Seattle, and these people get out of their cars and they're yelling at these protesters, like, "What are you doing? Like, we got to go!" And like all the cops on their bikes are just standing there, bro. I would lose it on those cops. And this guy's like talking to the cop all nice, like, "Hey, can you get him out of the way?" And the cops aren't doing it. I'd be like, "Do your effing job, you loser. Get them out of the way." I'm not getting them out of the way, or I might if it's dangerous and my kids are in the car, but I'm not going to go to jail to move protesters to not be late for work. Your job is to get them out of the way. Get them the F out of the way right this second. Loser.
How is that a legitimate assembly if you are blocking traffic in like lanes which people travel?
Bro, things got to change. Well, the homeless guys, there's got to be repercussions, whether it's from the guy, and I know I agreed at the moment, don't be too physical, or the cop. There's got to be repercussions, and people need to take this into their to deal with this stuff because no one's coming for you.
You got to fix yourself at
No,
home.
you got to fix your community and your home and your kids and your dog because no one's coming. No one's helping. It's on you. Are you a man over 35 years old? It's on you.
Yeah.
Over 45, it's really on you. You're it. You're the last line of defense in this society.
That's true.
It's going down. And you can make a change with your children and with your dog and in your community and in your home. And if you have the power to make change outside of that, good on you. But at least do it with your dog and your kids in your home. Then go to your community because things are getting real and they're getting scary.
Yeah. There's a bit of it's a tough situation. I mean, you've got to take responsibility. Also, you do look at yourself and you go, wow, like, okay, you're over 40 or whatever, or we're over 40. And you think about when people are acting
your
up
dad's
or
not coming to
something,
help.
No, like when
you're
people
the guy
are acting
now.
up, people like say in a store or something like that, the females and the kids, they're looking at you and I to be like, hey, are you going to do something about this? Because you go, oh, well, let's call the cops. The cops aren't here, right? What are we going to do when the cops aren't here?
What are you going to, yeah.
You know, and it's one of those things that, and I know this is a bit of a tirade, but like this whole podcast, but
whole thing's a tirade.
I had to pick up my father from the airport. He came in from Hawaii, so I had to pick him up, and of course, there's a line of people waiting to get in to pick people up, right? And so as I'm there, this guy wants to drive all the way to the very front.
Yeah.
And then who do you think he wants to cut in front of?
You.
Yes.
So
what do you think I like for that?
What'd you do?
So I lay on the horn as I try to converge, right?
Yep.
And he like ends up going around to where he misses the turn because I wouldn't let him in. Like, so he went to the departing rather than to the arriving flights.
Yeah.
But I was like, F you, bro. If I got to wait 15, 20 minutes to get in this thing, you're not going to make the fool out of me and go cut me off. You can go to hell. You can go all the way around and go try it again, you jackass.
All right. Good job. It's small, but it's something.
It's just like when the two lanes merge, I just go right in the middle and I'm like, no, you're not going to go by me.
Yeah.
And I wait for you guys.
I don't mean to minimize your thing, but I got a better thing.
It's not better than mine. That was the best.
It's way better than yours.
All right, let's hear it. I'll judge this.
I am the dummy who listens to my daughter and my wife on our way back from somewhere, and they go, hey, we want to go to a mall a week before Christmas. I haven't been to a mall in years. Not just a mall, the freaking Irvine Spectrum. Okay. And I go, okay, we'll go to a mall. I want my wife and my daughter to be very happy. And it's not even for presents. It's for like something my daughter wants on a Sunday or a Saturday, Sunday. I go to the Irvine Spectrum. People, I've never had a parking in weird interaction like you see on the internet ever in my life. I'm driving around, nowhere to park. I go and I'm following this. Oh no, first, okay, I go and this person, we kind of arrive at the same time, but this guy's an old guy.
The energy are about to collide.
And this person's leaving and we go boop and we both turn our turn signals on. And I look at him across the way and I go, you or me, like, are we just going to both go? Like that's when things are going to get weird. So I look at him and I go, and I'm open to it. Right. We arrived at the same time. I'm fine. And then he doesn't do anything back. And I go, you go, buddy. I let the guy go in.
Oh, that's humble of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a reasonable person, I think. Then I wait right there. A lady walks by. As she walks by my car, I turn my turn signal on. She walks about 4 cars down. I'm following her. I stop with my turn signal on. She goes to her car. A guy, right as she kind of goes to her car, pulls up, flips his turn signal on. After me. We're both this way, cars here. Both this way, cars here. And the lady's getting her stuff in her car, and guy's just got his turn signal on. I got my turn signal on, and I'm going, okay. And I go, I'm going to go talk to this guy. My kids and my wife, I think they think I'm like some crazy.
I think the pod is thinking we're a bit unhinged as well.
But maybe. I'm trying to not start something. I'm trying to figure this out.
Jumping out of your car.
No.
Okay.
And my kids are like, don't get out of the car. And I'm like, I'm going to talk to the guy.
Yeah.
So I just walk up and I go, hey man, I go, I think we were there before you. And he goes, I don't remember what he said, and I'm like, yeah, dude, we followed that lady, and then you pulled up a couple seconds later. I'm pretty sure we were there. We were there before you. I'm being super nice. And he's like, okay, all right, whatever. Have a Merry Christmas.
Like, you too, buddy. Merry Christmas.
But like, I'm not, this is when you have the fight, right? When people are both going or you have the car accident. Like,
Yeah.
my way was to de-escalate the situation. Then there was a lady behind me. This story isn't as good as I thought. Then the lady behind
You
me,
should have made up some weird story and made it
he
like
leaves.
chains.
Then this lady behind me is literally
Nice.
behind me. I'm walking back from getting in an argument with that guy. It was an argument. I was trying to avoid a conflict. And she gets out of her car and she goes, I followed that lady. And I go, but you're behind me. And she goes, but everyone keeps cutting me off. I saw her. And I go, but my car's there and your car's there.
Yeah, you're behind me.
You're literally behind my car. And she goes, okay. And she drives away. And I was like, this is insanity.
That is insanity. I think
So
I do think there's a bit of
I was
potential
de-escalating.
contentious energy flowing.
Yeah, but wasn't I was de-escalating. I did
Christmas
not
spirit.
walk up to this guy mad. I was like, hey, let's figure this out before we both are
We should
driving our
probably-
cars into the same spot.
We should leave this up to the podcast to decide, if you are fighting over a parking spot or just at a standoff, and then is the reasonable thing to do to jump out of your car and go talk
I
to the
didn't
person.
jump. I calmly
slowly got out of the car.
Am I missing something?
I'm just saying, maybe we'll talk to the pod. They can
No,
they
but
can fill us in.
you
on what
tell
we
me
think.
if I calmly get out so we can resolve it rather than
What
do
did your
this.
What did your family think about this?
So my family tripped out. I was like, calm down.
Have you ever
everyone.
heard that?
They
saying?
think I'm like,
Have you ever
gonna
heard that
do
saying
something.
where it's like, if you run into 3 assholes in one day?
I ran into 2. The homeless guy was the day before.
Maybe,
I know where you're
maybe,
going.
yeah.
I've never heard it. I know where you're going. I ran into 2.
If you run into enough, maybe you got the wrong.
2 does not make a trend.
Okay, so it could have just been the stars aligning. Maybe it's like Mercury retrograde or whatever they call that, right? There could be a lot of explanations for this, right?
Yeah, Christmas and all that.
I think the point that we're trying to make here is that you don't handle your business, whether that's dog training, acting like a reasonable human being. And now we have issues bubbling up because people don't want to act like, that's why even with having kids, it's like respect is so important, because like when disrespecting people that you don't know has severe or can have severe consequences. So that's why it's good when everyone is walking around polite. And just like I went to the UFC this weekend, it's like I didn't see any fights. I did see a fight, but it was a professional. There was actually a
when
professional fighter.
Strickland
attacking
jumped in.
Yeah,
Did you see
yeah.
that?
I did. I actually saw it. I was trying to get it all on video, but I got him getting marched out. But like your normal people there are actually, I didn't see. There might have been one. I saw a little skirmish, but I don't know what was going on. But in general, you got 19,000 people at that arena, and it was pretty mild, right? Because people know, like, hey,
A lot of these
be
people
respectful.
can fight.
Yeah, be respectful. You don't know who can and who can't,
Yeah.
and so it's like, and then you don't know who is with who, and it's just good to be respectful across the board,
Yeah.
and it reduces problems. And there is a way at which you can talk to people, and do it in a straightforward way that's not pissing people off. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sure you didn't go up to the guy and like, hey,
I didn't.
what are you doing?
No. That wasn't the case.
I'm not saying you did. You would never do something like that. Your energy is calm. Yet
Are you
assertive.
being serious?
I just want the pod to decide.
All right, they can decide.
Should you
I
jump
was
out
right.
of your car when you're faced off with somebody in a
I
parking lot?
should you calmly get out of your car? How about that?
Calmly.
I know
sorry.
you shouldn't jump out of your car.
Okay.
That's starting rough.
Did you have anything in your hands?
Yeah, I had a baseball bat. What's the problem? I
wow.
de-escalated. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I
that sounds-
de-escalated the situation. Okay, I've said that 4 times.
Okay.
I
so
don't
how-
understand how I must not be explaining myself well.
Can we talk about Jason Corey for a second?
Yeah.
Or do you want to? I mean, we can
No,
go a little
this
bit
is
harder in the
perfect.
paint. I'm
Jason Corey.
trying to
So he did a
I'm trying to diffuse the situation here.
All right. So Jason Corey I like him. He did a video. I did a video with a Cane Corso, and
This one.
apparently he has a problem with you guys. He has a problem with the commenters, and his wife has a problem with the commenters.
But that's not necessarily the pod.
I know it's not, but
It's like
I'm just saying that.
higher level. Let's see what's
Yeah,
up here.
you're right. I shouldn't say it that
It doesn't take any strength. It doesn't take a penis.
Beckham's dog training. He trains a Cane Corso. And comments we were looking at. So annoying when people get a dog completely inappropriate for them. 3 little Asian girls shouldn't have a war dog bigger than they are.
So those comments in particular
Wow.
are just quite comical to me because they are so ignorant, if I can say so.
They triggered Kara a little bit this morning.
I was ready to go off this morning. They triggered me because it's just so inaccurate. There's so many things to consider in terms of getting this breed. As a female, I've told Jason
Look at that
this
coat.
numerous times.
Good looking dogs.
So that's a
Triggered
teaser.
Kara.
If I can
Can we
say
can we
so.
look at the size of these dogs for a second?
I
Like,
know.
am I the only one that notices this?
No, you're not.
Look at that thing.
Yeah. So
How much does that
that's
thing
a
weigh?
teaser. Oh yeah, here's the comment. So annoying when people get a dog completely imperfect for them 3 layers and shouldn't have war dogs bigger than they are.
Yeah, they
So
probably
she
shouldn't bring up
doesn't
Asian,
like-
right? I mean, that doesn't seem
Yeah, that's
like a
not cool.
relevant thing to talk about.
Get out of that.
Okay, you
Um,
good on that one?
Yeah. So that's
They get
the
the
thing.
gist,
His
right?
video will be out tomorrow. No. It will have already been out by the time this podcast airs.
And does he breeds Cane Corsos?
I don't know.
Okay.
I should know more about what he does.
He has 408,000 subs.
Yeah, he's
That's
big.
almost as
He's
many
big
as
on
you.
Instagram too. And so I don't know. Her issue with it. I don't know. She had issue with the comments. Maybe she has issues
What?
with the video. I don't know. I wanted to get them
You don't-
both on the podcast.
Are
today.
they from San Diego or are they from somewhere else? You don't know.
There was snow on those Cane Corsos. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, that could have
He's
been.
got a beanie on. I don't know.
You
I
know,
don't
you're
know.
not wearing a beanie in San Diego in December.
No.
Right?
Well, some people looks good. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what they say about the comments and what she says. And this, I wanted to get him on the podcast today. I didn't reach out to him because I didn't hear from you. You were working, but it would
know,
be cool to
sorry.
get him
Sorry
on
about
and
that.
just get him on like 20 minutes and let her say what her issue is with the comments.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds
And it
like-
might be my issue. I think I agree.
But I mean, I
from what
think
the
her
little I've
issue
seen.
is that, hey, she's probably got these 2 Cane Corsos that she does just fine with. and
Yeah,
she's
that's what it
going,
seems like.
It's not the dog, it's the person.
Yeah, so the commenters are saying that she. So that's my argument a lot of times too. Like,
Yeah.
listen, the person can sort of deal with the dog
Yeah,
if
Liz
they
could do
try
it.
hard. Like Liz could do it, she can do it. So why can't everyone else?
Yeah.
I'm not positive what the issue is, but I guess that would be it.
I guess the problem that you run into though is like, this larger amount of, oh, well, hey, I mean, Michael Jordan can do it. It's like, well, I mean, not to say Liz is Michael Jordan, but like Liz trains dog for the last 15 years. So
My
if she can
wife.
handle a Cane Corso, like that doesn't exactly apply to the general public. Just like I was with that video I told you about last night about the, basically saying like you're wasting your entire life on social media, especially like Instagram and TikTok specifically. Right. And so if you like think about all of these things, it just doesn't, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna move on.
So I agree if they are saying they don't like the shaming of the clients in the comments, I 100% agree with them. And I think there's a tinge of that to what they're saying here. I mean, that's a shaming of the clients, and they
but I
have
think
a problem with that.
I think her larger thing is just
is
that,
the
like,
women thing.
you can handle the that she or Liz or whoever have the ability to handle it, right? My
Right.
only point I was trying to make earlier was just about when it comes to like they go like the solution to that video I told you about was like, oh well, what you need to do in social media is to exercise moderation. And it's kind of like, well, you just got done telling us that like it's literally geared for you to
Right,
not
right.
do
To-
moderation.
to be addicted.
Yeah. So, I mean, not to be a devil's advocate, I've never been accused of that on this podcast. But if that was the case, like, I don't know his wife's name, but what I would say is like, you do have a dog channel with 400,000 subs. You're probably not your average person, right? She probably doesn't need dog training as well. So I think you have to like baseline things for your average person. Like, should an average person get a Cane Corso? I say no, because I think you need to be a unique individual to handle one and to train them and to put the time and effort into it. There's a lot of boxes you have to check to make sure that dog behaves properly.
Yep.
Don't
Yeah,
you think?
it depends. I think everyone could do it, but it's at the beginning of this podcast. What did I say? Fix it.
Fix it. But
Fix the
the thing
problem.
is people aren't fixing other problems in their life. They're probably not fixing their dog.
Yeah, but where
But you're
Me-
saying like thou move forth in the world and get this stuff fixed.
yeah, like you said it last week on the podcast, and I was like, oh, owners, like I didn't switch gears in a week. I
You
had
were
a
being
couple
soft.
situations that I was being a little soft, and I had a couple situations, and and I'm just so I hit like a threshold of like over sort of nonsense. And what's my world? My world's dog training world. Okay. And so how can I have an effect on society? You're over your dog's nonsense. Fix it. Fix the problem. You don't actually need me. No one really. Here's why people need me. People need me for the dogs and for Prince. And they think they need me for me telling them what to do. They don't have to come to me. But I mean, they do, but they don't. Fix the problem. But I've also seen that client, if I were to say, fix your dog's jumping, and they literally look at me and they go, I don't know what to do. I would
They
say
need your permission.
is that it? That's actually an interesting point.
No, it's true. It's like people know, like for instance, let's just say
That's an interesting
let's just say
point.
somebody has a problem with their weight, right? And I've been there. I know, I understand this.
I've seen him eat.
Yeah.
It's
It's a problem. So like, so if you were to think about these type of things and you really get into the coaching and trying to improve your life in that aspect, think about this. Okay,
it's easier with a
I need to
trainer.
hire somebody. I need them to help me, right? It is easier with a trainer. There's no doubt, right? Pay money, you get somebody to get you laser focused on what needs to be done.
They yell at you.
But they kind of know. Like there is some things that you don't
you're
know.
right.
Like, I mean, like the ways that you could really help is about like preparing meals. Like what is a way to eat relatively healthy without as much problem so that like you can get it on the grill, get it cooked, get it going, and have some like simplistic choices that you can just make. So you can like,
Yeah.
you're not making freaking gourmet food every day, right? So like but
they have some
so
skills to offer you.
Yeah, they can help you, and like they've seen the right and wrong way to do it, so they can point you in that direction. But if you were sitting there saying like, okay, someone's putting a gun to your head, right, so to speak, then and you need to make a decision and you need to change this outcome, whether it's
You could
exercise,
do it on your own.
Yeah, you're damn right.
All
you
right.
can do it quickly.
All right. It's similar to personal trainer. Yes, I've always thought that. Dog training. No, that's a good point. But just maybe just do it.
But
Just,
what about
if I go to a gym, but I don't need a gym. I'm just kind of lazy.
Mhm.
And I just don't, I want someone to tell me and make me work for an hour rather than me go in my garage and work for an hour. I don't need the gym. I truly don't. And I pay money for it.
But
I don't need
here's
it.
where it gets tough though. It's like, Jocko Willink, right?
Yeah.
He's
You know more about this than me. You read David Goggins.
Yeah,
I don't.
But all these guys. But the issue I have with like more with Jocko, and I think he's awesome, but like an issue I have with Jocko is like his book is cool, but it's also like you need discipline, like exercise discipline. But sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm trying to exercise the discipline.
But I have no
like,
discipline.
I don't have the discipline. Okay, well, you need to build it. It's like, okay, well, how do I build it? So
No,
a lot of it
yeah.
becomes into like, how do you build it? And that's where I think a lot of your
Yeah.
dog training clients or everyone else has trouble is you're showing, but what you can show them is that intensity that we talked about at the beginning. That if your dog tries to bite
Intensity,
you or
yeah.
tries to do something and you put the fear of God in them and you're like, hey, do not do that again, right? And you get crazy with the dog, then it goes, oh, wow, this guy doesn't play around. And they see you do it, they go, oh,
Yeah.
I was at a 2, I needed to be at a 9.
That's right. And I've always said that. I'm like, my first job is get the attitude first, and then the I'll show you what to do second. But you got to get the attitude first. Like I got to get you up to that point. So in a way, like I want you to be to that point, then I can help you or help them, like with the skills and okay, we're gonna grab the collar and do a little butt touch here, and the dog's gonna flip, and then they're gonna flip back to the guy they're trying to jump on, then they're gonna do the butt touch again where the dog flips, and it's a really magical thing. And they don't know that, but you got to be ready to have your dog be a little sad for a minute.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're ready for that. Hey, will you bring up Bert Kreischer?
We're not gonna listen to audio, are we?
Dogo Argentino guy.
Are we listening to the audio or no?
Yeah, but we listened to audio on this. It wasn't.
yeah,
that
but he's
loud.
not going to flag us for copyright.
Neither will this Bert Kreischer Dogo Argentino breeder. I
All
don't
right.
think. I mean, why would they? Oh, or no, we do have to listen to the audio. And this is a popular clip. You think they're going to flag us?
Wouldn't put it past
So
them.
that's no. It's that. Oh, is it Bert?
It is
Joe
Bert.
Rogan. No, it's Rogan.
No, he was on Rogan. is
No,
where
but
it
there's
came
the
up.
actual guy who says this. Type in Rogan. It's the actual dog trainer guy who says it. So it's not Bert telling Rogan. It's
Let me just type in Rogan Dogo Argentina.
okay. We'll listen to that. But bro, hang with us.
Stand by, folks.
This is gonna be so loud.
Is this it?
That's 4 minutes. We can't watch
Yeah.
that. This is about the sleeping in the bed. Dogo sleeping in the bed. Type in.
Can you summarize it for us?
Okay, I'm going to summarize it. Dogo Argentino guy talking to a podcaster. I think it was Rogan, maybe Kreischer. Big, tough guy. He goes, I was in the woods. My Dogo Argentino got a hold of a plastic bag. He said, I went up to him. My guess is the dog was around a year and a half. That would be my guess. I went up to him and I grabbed the plastic bag out of his mouth and I said, drop it. And that guy, he goes, that Dogo looked at me and he said, and he looked at him and he bared his teeth at the guy, the owner. And the guy goes, this was the moment. Someone was going to win and someone was going to lose. So he took his hand and he goes, do it. And he put his, while probably holding the bag, he put his hand right up against the Dogo's mouth and he put it there and he said, do it. And the guy kept growling at him. And then the guy finally submitted. He got the paper bag and maybe he had to do that again. And maybe he didn't. But there are these moments with with some dogs, right? You want to keep them intact. You want to get a Borbal. You want to get a Cane Corso. There are these moments that you have to do this or you will lose
risk your
for
health.
the next 10 years. And it's scary. But there are some dogs you have to. That's when in these videos where I go, some of these trainers, if you don't work with these dogs, you don't understand this concept. This concept doesn't even make sense. You have to work with those dogs at a year. You got to keep them intact. And you are going to occasionally have this moment. We've talked about it, going to the floor, going to the wall, whatever.
Yeah, we talked about it in a different podcast.
So I guess
you have to make a decision, right?
Yeah, and it's scary.
Are you okay for him to bite your hand? I mean, you got to be
You hope it
willing.
doesn't
You have
happen.
to be willing because that's a lot of the stuff. It's like a
He's-
game of chicken, right?
He's looking for it. The
Yeah.
dog's going,
The-
are you gonna back down?
the issue.
Oh, they don't think like that. No, they do think like that. That's all they think about sometimes.
Yeah, the issue that you're probably running into is like, of dogs that won't back down.
Yeah.
Like there are dogs that are, and we won't say that they're pit bulls, but they could be anything. But
be
where they
anything.
literally will say like, I'm not backing down. I will back down to nothing, right? And then it's like, oh, you bite my hand. It's like, okay, I'll bite your hand, right? So like, you got to use your brain too. I mean,
They generally won't though. But you have to be willing to go that far.
to your point though, right? This isn't
Or you got a
necessarily a
problem.
purebred Cane. It could be a rescue or something like
it
that.
could be a
Then you got to
friggin-
start reevaluating whether you want to do it. But hey, at the end of the day, if you
Could
want to
be-
prove your alpha, because there's like, we talk about this with the lions and stuff like that. Like, look at a lion. Like, he is an alpha. Like, he won't say no, but he also got his eye ripped out. So like, it's okay to be alpha, but just know sometimes alphas get their eyeball ripped out.
Oh, they die. Yeah, they die.
So don't,
yeah.
don't complain about your eye getting ripped out or getting bit on the face.
Yeah.
If you don't want the smoke, you don't want the smoke.
Yeah.
So like, that's
It's
why
dangerous.
I think it gets back to the point of like, but I think it actually goes against what is it? What's his name? Jason Corey. And I'm not trying to start a flame war or anything like that. I'm just saying,
No, don't.
like, I like them. I like that they watch the stuff and I like that they're tagging the channel and all that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, yeah, maybe a lot of people have absolutely no business owning a Cane Corso. Maybe 60 to 70% of the population have no business owning a Cane Corso. I would say 60 to 70% of the people probably don't have any business owning a dog.
Yeah.
let
you might be
alone a 130-pound dog that is the toughest badass, what'd you call it, warrior dog on your last video?
Yeah,
I'm
that
sorry
was-
to bring up dog training, but
Yeah, that was for effect a little bit, but yeah,
but remember Garrett talked about that in the podcast.
I know. That's where I got it from.
Yeah, no, that was good. But you know what I'm saying? I just think you do see people that you're like, this person probably should not have had a dog. This was a mistake to buy this dog, you know?
Yeah, I think it's the women part of things she didn't like.
Yeah, I think it was the
Listen,
calling,
here's
asking
the-
if
here's the-
an Asian woman could do it.
Yeah, yeah.
was
Here's the
an
thing.
issue.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not about men and women. It's about deep voices and broad shoulders
But it isn't just about that though, because
and height.
if Liz can handle this, then it isn't a female male thing, but there's also the level of the intensity, right? That if someone's willing, if they understand dogs and how to train dogs and how to train animals, and they're willing to turn that on into be no nonsense, because I've read this in the comments with a lot of people, they have tough dogs,
but
and
it's
they put it
easier
some-
with a deep voice, broad shoulders, and height.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to be
I'll have a
Shaquille O'Neal,
wife,
you know?
I'll have a wife and husband, and it's tough situation, and I'm like, he's got to do it first. He's got to set the tone. Then you come later, because to me, it's a really hard thing we're trying to do here, guys. The guy with the deep voice who's 6'3" is going to start it, not the 5'6"
What if
person
you were a female?
with a high voice.
Let's do a thought experiment.
Then what
if you were a female?
Then it would be easier. Then it would be harder than it is for someone with
But could you do it?
a deep voice, a broad shoulders, and the height.
But could you do it?
Of course.
So
it's a
that just
binary
shows
choice.
It's not a
No, but it's easier.
yeah.
This is not
but
debatable.
it's easier. Like I was saying, it's
This is
easier. It's
not
easier to
debatable.
be Shaq than it is to be George
Why are you
Costanza.
arguing with me about
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like it's still just a level of grades. Like
Yes.
yeah, if
all
you're
I'm saying.
7 foot 300 pounds,
With a
that
dog?
Dogo Argentino is going to look at you like whoa.
I know.
Versus like George
That's all I'm saying.
Costanza, he's going to go hey. You
That's
know?
all I'm saying.
So his thick wallet, and he's gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
What do you mean? Am I arguing you with you? Is that
Yeah,
what
that's what it seems like. Yeah, yeah.
Am I like amuse you?
Do I amuse you?
I actually
Am I
saw
a
this.
clown?
Speaking of like TikTok, I did see the breakdown of that from like Scorsese.
Wait.
Did you see that? It was like that scene,
Yeah.
and it was Scorsese breaking it down. They were talking
I
about
didn't
how
see it.
they reiterated, they talked about the whole thing, and then I was like, I'm canceling TikTok. This is horrible. And then I see that scene from Goodfellas, and I'm like, this is a great video I just
Oh,
watched.
yeah.
And then I'm like, you wrote me back in.
Okay. So we had a comment, and it says, because I talked about the scene in Game of Thrones with the Conning Horses and Dogo Argentinos against the Bolton boy, Ramsay Bolton, and I said it was maybe the best scene in TV history. Remember?
That was
The last
pretty
week.
badass. Yeah.
Okay. And I said it was, but it's one of them. Can we say that the do I amuse you? Am I a clown scene from Goodfellas is one of the best scenes in movie history?
But do you know why it's one of the best scenes? So that actually happened to Joe Pesci. They talk about it in the thing.
Oh.
So I think a gangster kind of guy was talking to Joe Pesci
great.
and did it to him.
Yeah.
And then was like, and so then when Scorsese heard about it, he was like, we got to put this in the movie somehow. So
Yeah.
then they started brainstorming, and the whole point of it was like, well, Scorsese just lets them improvise. And they're like, that's not the case at all. It's just that he listens to people's opinions, and then he will rewrite the script if he thinks he can make it better. And
Yeah.
so that's what he did. But it was funny, and it's so great. And I love it because when he's just sitting there like grilling Henry Hill or whatever it is,
Yeah.
or Ray Liotta about it.
Yeah.
And then he just like what? And then he just go, I gotcha.
I
Like
know.
it's so good. And then they're all laughing, and it's just like, it's just such a great thing that like to be able, but it's from life, right? Like
yeah. How about the scene when they kill the guy? They go to Pesci's mom's house, and she brings out that painting of that she painted, and they're like, "Oh, look, the dog's going one way and the guy's going the other way." Pesci
Yeah.
says that. That guy looks like someone we know. That's a good scene.
yeah. Well, isn't he like borrowing a shovel and stuff?
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
he's borrowing a shovel. That's his
Some
real
line.
mom. That's Pesci's mom.
Was it really?
Or Scorsese's mom? I think it's Pesci's mom. His real mom.
Have you ever seen Good Will Hunting?
Yeah, I saw it like 2 months ago
What do you
with my
think of it?
kids. I think it's good, except you hear the Louis C.K. skit when he goes, he wrote that movie. Oh, he's just this super smart guy. And oh, yeah, he fights. And it's like his problem with it. Have you seen that?
No.
His problem with Matt Damon
Looks
is that
fake.
he wrote He like
For
wrote the
himself.
coolest guy in the world
Yeah.
for himself.
No, you can't really blame him
Okay.
for that.
Yeah.
But that part but you love that movie, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's a great movie. But
So the part
which part?
I was thinking about is because of the painting, right? Where
Oh.
he shows that painting of the storm. It's like the storm and
Yes,
it's like
I
rough and like
know, I know.
and
It's
then
good.
he's basically like challenging and like trying to hurt Robert Williams, right? Yeah,
He's trying to
or Robin Williams rather.
emotionally hurt him.
Yeah, and he's
or
trying to
whatever.
emotionally hurt him, and then he
Yeah.
like keeps trolling Robin Williams, and
Yep.
Robin Williams grab him by the throat, and he's
Yeah.
like, "I will end you."
Top 100.
And then I feel like Matt Damon like got respect for him after that. Like
Bro,
this
you
goes
brought
full
this thing
circle.
full circle.
That goes full circle.
You're absolutely right.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
So Robin Williams physically and emotionally and mentally challenged him, one up him, and that's what it took for that strong-willed, hurting
child
to eventually submit to a man who physically showed him that he's powerful and he's strong and he's smart, bro.
it's heavy, man.
It's
and
heavy.
the thing is
You're
like
absolutely right. Did you just
I'm a
came up with
genius.
that?
No, but I'm thinking about
No,
if-
you're
if
right.
you
That's
thi-
the moment that turns.
But if you think of then he becomes
That's the Dogo Argentino.
well, he's
in the
also
hand.
from they're from the streets
They're both
supposedly.
from Southie.
So you get Matt Damon, who's his character is like he does what he wants and he thinks everyone's a joke,
Yeah.
and then he's like, this guy's like, hey, I'll choke you, like I'm fine with that.
Yes.
And then he's like, oh, this guy will fight me in the street. Like
Yeah.
he's not. I like to put everyone in this like weak category.
Yeah.
And then I'm in the strong category.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Robin Williams is like, no, I'm in the strong category too. I'll take it as far as you want to go.
That's right.
And then he's like, okay, this guy's legit. This guy's
Yep.
one of us.
Yep. You be Robin Williams to your dog.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is
And there are Matt Damon dogs out there.
and Robin Williams is trying to be a good guy.
He lets things
He was
go
being
until he can't
cool.
let it go anymore.
You know, I love when he says,
We just
you
found
know,
the perfect analogy
those
for
cigarettes
this
would be
podcast.
healthier for you if you stuck them up your ass. You heard that one? No, that is a great movie, but like it's
a
top
good
100 for sure.
Yeah.
I'd say top 50 maybe even.
Well, I was going
It's
off
fun.
that scene.
Yeah.
You acted like it was in the ballpark of Pesci, and that scene is.
That's a
not.
stretch out, but it was all based on the painting,
I know.
right?
I
That's the way my mind
We
works.
could just go through movie scenes. Awesome. I mean, like Godfather. We can go through some of
It goes-
those.
It goes dog training, animals,
We haven't done animals.
movies. I know. Well, we did talk about the osprey or whatever.
Yeah, for a minute.
Yeah,
I saw
people
two
complain
dogs
about that.
killing a deer, and the lady's freaking out, and they're like annihilating this deer, and the lady's like, "Oh my god, I had no idea," and the guy's like, "Look at your dogs; they're freaking killing a deer," it's hard to watch. I don't like when dogs kill wild animals when it's not like pigging or whatever. You got to get rid of pigs. I guess it's okay. I don't like when domestic dogs are killing wild animals. I don't like unnatural things.
I think it's different when they're actually like trained to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
But like if it's just like some random guy's dog gets out and
Well,
kills a deer, you're like, damn.
Happens all the senator's daughter killed a seal in Hawaii. I talked about it last week.
Yeah.
Freaking killed a seal. Super smart,
The dog
intelligent
killed the
animal.
seal, not the
Dog
daughter.
killed the seal. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
And
checking.
she's like, I had no idea my dog's capable of this. Well, now you know. And you better be careful.
I mean, I think my major issue is just that like, and it's something. I mean, you think about even the osprey and the raven. It was a raven or a crow. I thought it was a crow, but they said
It's a raven. It's in another country. I've never even seen a raven with a beak. Ravens are big.
I know. I always joke with
It's a raven.
I always joke with my wife because I'll be
Or
like, yeah, raven, crow, it's the same thing. She's like, it's not the same
How
thing.
does your wife know?
And then I go,
She's
no, they're the
smart.
same thing. And then she goes,
You've never.
and then
seen
I go, oh, there would be crows out there. I go, look, it's a raven. And she goes, that's not a raven.
Yeah, she's right. Your wife's smart.
Yeah, she knows about
Most people don't
wild
know that.
animals. She knows
Ravens are
about-
big and they have really big beaks. Crows' beaks are that. Ravens are that.
But I think, and I don't want to be like crazy, like you should be really careful because you're going to get hurt and all this other type of stuff. But just in general, like when you see that raven go after those osprey, like you realize, like you said, there's no one going to be here to protect you potentially, right? And like people, whether it's animals, could be people, could do potentially really bad things, and that you have to at least know this in your mind that this is a possibility. Not that it's likely, but that it's not 100% guaranteed. So then
Yeah.
act accordingly, basically.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
know? So that's what I was thinking.
Comments.
How much time do we have left? I've got to meet somebody pretty soon.
10 minutes.
Okay.
That's all we got. All right. I've got a zillion of them, so we can't go through them all. All right. If I got killed by, this is all comments from last podcast. If I got killed by a bear in the woods, it would indeed be a bad bear. You said, would it be a bad bear if you got killed by a bear in the woods? This person
said
says
that
yes.
Okay.
Which I get. I would think that's a bad bear too. I would like to argue that the Akita has the muscles. They are just hidden by the fluff. And I would like to argue that too. You are biased against dogs with long hair because you don't think they're buff, but they're buff under the hair. And you were a big proponent of all the buff dogs last week. And she's saying they're buff under the hair. Okay.
Yeah.
Joel at 17 minutes asked the definitive question, what do we do about it? Is he correct? This podcast will at best put a small dent in the problem of unprepared dog owners. The pet industry, this is off-grid dogs. The pet industrial complex makes $70 billion a year selling the lie of convenience, from flea and tick medication to neutering and psychotropic drugs, from kibble to board and trains to force-free to shot collars. Big dog food to corporate veterinary to big retail rescue. Pet owners are misled what a dog is. So
that's such a good comment, though.
Yeah.
That comment, I read that. I think I called you. I think you called me and you didn't know what comment it was. And then I called you later and I read the comment.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that is the pet industrial complex.
Yeah. I simplified it last week and sort of talked in generalities at sometimes, and off-grid dogs put it pretty well in that. And he's right. He's not wrong.
My thought on that is that we don't want to be it's not just a podcast, the channel. We don't want to be the podcast that's contributing to this like pet industrial complex. Like give people the tools they need. Like don't sit there and sell them a bunch of crap all the time. Like if you're going to sell them something decent, like a shirt, maybe, for instance, like if Christmas is coming.
Yeah. I was going to start this podcast talking about medications. That was going to be my intro talk. Medications and the problems with them. And then it just got booted maybe to next week, but it's a problem.
I think we should take that
of giving dogs these medications is a giant problem.
We should talk about that pet industrial complex thing further, like next episode, like later on in the episode. That's I could talk for 4 hours about the issues with that.
Joel and Eric need to take a personality test and share the results because curiosity. Okay. Then he says, currently lost in a rabbit hole of currently lost in a rabbit hole of Jungian analytical psychology. I've heard of Carl Jung.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what Jungian analytical psychology is. It's like broad kind of, it's something to do with broad. Do you know?
I'm not an expert on this stuff. Carl Jung is awesome. I actually read one of his books, and that guy was amazing. But there was basically like
he was acting like we were being Jungian.
There's like Jung versus Freud. Like Freud thought,
I like Freud.
Well, he like thinks everything is like sex based, from what I understand. But
I think Freud's right.
The more I dug into what Jung was saying, I was like, Jung is like the diamond in the rough, and like Freud was a bit of the like popular like pseudo science-ish.
They're trying to like make Freud like, oh, that's not true. It's freaking true. Like the ego and the id and all that is like,
some of that is true.
Really, it's pretty true, dude.
Jung was awesome though.
Oh, but they're different.
I'd say Jung is better.
Can they both be true?
Also, Jung was saying like, and I don't know this is from his book, but he was like, yeah, this guy's a bit of a bullshitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he was all about like what he wanted to have, like a crew, like Freud was all about like getting a crew of people to follow him, and then like when I guess like Jung didn't agree with what he was saying, then he got all upset, like he had to go along with what Freud was saying, and he's like, I don't believe what you're saying. I think you're wrong. And then Freud got mad at him for that and wasn't talking to him or whatever. That's just what I read. I don't know if it's true.
Interesting.
What do I know?
I haven't owned a dog in years, but did the squid. I haven't owned a dog in years, but oddly enough, watching Joel's videos has had a positive impact on my human life. There have been a few occasions where I've exercised self-discipline and held myself from poor decision-making by imagining the words, yeah, I know you want to do X. I don't care. I'm over it. A bit weird, but it works. It works.
Mm-hmm.
And this podcast was heavily involved in just human behavior and, making society better, and not about necessarily dogs.
What's one word you would use to sum up this podcast? Not this one particularly, but just in general.
Helpful.
I was thinking like insanity, but I mean,
I feel like it's helpful in life.
I think it's more helpful in like a spiritual, like Fight Club type of way. Like there's
Yeah.
something wrong in the world.
Like, you can't do it in one word.
We're putting our hand on like a larger issue going on in the world.
Yeah.
And then I did want to cover one comment. Oh, go ahead. You were going to say something amazing.
That's fine. I wasn't.
I was thinking about the guy who was like, "Hey, the guy who's the bloke to the left of Joel," and then he's like, "Why? Who is he? And why is he here?" And I text you back. I was like, "Okay, it's podcast 31. Maybe if you, if you want to know who I am, don't start on podcast 31." But,
yeah.
To answer your question,
who's the bulk up? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, the person who responds is even better. But, the answer to why am I there is because this is my house, bro. So that's why I'm here. I actually work here. I stay here.
Can I read the response?
Yeah,
because I think it's funny. The guy basically says, "Who's the bloke on Joel's left? Hey, you should say who he is at the beginning of the podcast." And Brandon's diaper. Where do people come up with these names?
It's a great name.
Says that's Joel's pet monkey. He trained him at an early age to the point where he can even speak English. He's so intelligent. He's taken on human features and characteristics. Joel named him Eric.
This is true.
How funny is that?
That's
it's like such a sarcastic response. And I don't mind the guy's question. Some people got mad at him in the comments.
Yeah, but I think.
But I don't mind this question. Who's the guy to Joel's left?
But you could see how you could be in your office, and then you're reading comments, and it's like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "It's my office, dude. Where else would I be? I'm here all day long."
That's a funny remark. That's a funny way to answer that.
Which one?
Both. You're like, I'm here because this is my house.
I live
that's
here.
Not an answer.
I live here.
Yeah, but
you're in my house. Why would I not? Why am I in my own house? Like, it sounds like one of these.
I could
things
do
where, like, people
somewhere
breaking
else.
in where
so
they're
if
like,
I did this somewhere else, you wouldn't be here.
My what do they call it? Attendance. My attendance might slide a bit.
Oh,
you know how busy it's been.
Yeah, for you,
it's been crazy. It's literally nonstop. So,
all right.
I am here. It's like that. Do you ever watch?
We gotta go.
Get Shorty. This is what we'll end on.
No,
this.
I've never seen Get Shorty.
You lying?
It looks horrible.
Oh, it's so good. He goes and
looks like a dumb movie.
He goes. He's got like his hand on, or he's got like a gun to this guy, and he's holding a gun to him, and the guy goes, I think John Travolta like is all a gangster, and he goes, "Hey, he goes, excuse me, bro, but who the F are you?" And then what's his name? John Travolta goes, "I'm the one telling you the way it is. That's what I'm here for."
Oh,
but I don't tell you the way it is. I just tell the world the way it is.
You like that scene?
Oh, you should watch Get Shorty 100%. It's so good. It's got Rene Russo, Danny DeVito, John Travolta, Gene Hackman, I believe.
Gene Hackman's good.
Delroy Lindo, I think his name is. It has Jason James Gandolfini, dude.
Oh, really? Oh,
it's good. Everyone, tell him in the comments, convince him. And also, I watched
Sicario. So I have to watch Get Shorty.
Yeah, you watch Get Shorty. I actually have it here, so I can give it to you. You can report back to the podcast.
I don't have a DVD player.
Okay, go online and buy it.
You're gonna give me a DVD.
I'll Venmo you $7 for the rental.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll buy it.
Okay.
All right, that's it.
That's all she wrote.
All right, love you guys.
All right, see you guys.